Hey Facebook, Domingo again. Just wanted to let you guys know. First, thank you for all those beautiful comments that you guys are sending, along with your good vibes. It's good knowing that when you hear from good people and you're able to relate to them. So last night after I made this video, and after I had problems with the internet, before I went to sleep I prayed, and I just kind of said, kind of help me and tell me how everything got started. I mean, what happened? And I had a dream, and it was kind of like going back to the future. Where I went, we didn't need roads. I got up to 88 miles per hour, and boom, I think I know exactly what happened. But before I tell you my dream, let me just a little backstory. I was born and raised in Santa Ana, California, but we don't say Santa Ana, we say Santana, 714. My dad was born in Villa Largo in Mexico, Jalisco. My mom was born here in Santa Ana. My grandma was born in Nayarit. My grandpa, from my mom's side, I don't know, I never met him. He passed away before I was born. But growing up, it was typical Hispanic household. Every Sunday, we would go to St. Anne's, representing right there, right off Main Street. We would go to St. Anne's, then we would go to Golden Basket, and then from the Golden Basket, we would go to OCC to the swap meet, and then if you're good, the first aisle, you would get those chicharrones with that lady that used to say, "Con chile limón? Sí, sí, gracias, gracias." I mean, she's still there to this day. And then if we made it all the way to the end of the last row, we would get those big old raspados. Oh man, they were good. And as far as I can remember, that was our life. That was our Sunday tradition. And I did that. I did my first communion, and then something happened around 92, 93. It was with my tío Chuy, who I was very, very, very close to. And we used to always talk about wrestling, and he would come over and spend the night. Well, he discovered Jesus. And, the first thing he tried to do was tell and spread all the good news with his family. My mom's, both my aunts, Marta Maria, and with my grandma, who was called Niña, which means little girl. So of course he wanted to spread the news. And one of my first experiences is he took me somewhere called the Harvest Crusade, which was at Angel Stadium. And if you guys ever been to one of them, there's nothing than seeing the entire stadium filled up with people. And they're all worshiping, and they're all talking about God. But towards the end, when Greg Laurie invites everybody down to accept him, and he kind of says, you're either for God or against God. And if you accept him in front of everybody, then you'll be saved. But if you deny him in front of everybody, then he'll deny you in front of his Father in the kingdom of heaven. That always stuck with me when he said that. And I said, oh, wow. I don't want to go down there. I want to go on top. So of course I went down there. I was a kid at the time. And I accepted him. I prayed. And it touched me. From there, we went to something called the Somebody Loves You Crusade with Raul Reese. And I really related to Raul Reese because he had struggles with his dad, his communication really wasn't there with him and his dad. And he let out his frustration through martial arts, which was me. I love karate. I used to call myself the Karate Kid. And so I got all involved with going to the church with Chuy on Sundays, going to Calvary. We used to actually go to the gym because, the Calvary was just so traditional, and everybody was always dressed up. And Chuy used to say, if you don't want to go to the gym, though, the church, we can go to the gym. The gym is more laid back. We see it on the screen, even though it was just a couple feet away, but you don't have to worry about people judging you, and it's judgment free. And I love that. So I used to tell my mom, hey mom, I want to go to Calvary Chapel of Costa Mesa. I want to go there for high school, and that's one of my goals. And she said, mijo, well, we just can't afford it. And I never understood that really back then. I just said, okay. So here I was, about 11, 12, and I used to walk around with my Bible that Chewy bought me. It was the NIV, New International Version, and he got me my first highlighter, and I used to just love just writing notes on there and just highlighting everything I would see. And so that was pretty much it. So back to the dream, I went to this junior high called Carr Intermediate, which was off Edinger for those Santa Ana locals, so you guys know pretty much where it's at. And my first 6th grade, I had this teacher named Robert Doring. I love that man. He was my history teacher, and he used to just he was one of those guys that would kind of try to teach not out of the book, but try to bring history to life, whether it was assignments, role-playing, special activities, watching Discovery channels. He used to just be a very hands-on, so I used to go before class, after class, to help him set up, and no issues in 6th grade. Love that man. In 7th grade, we had one of the assignments, and one of the assignments was, he was just explaining Cro-Magnon. He used to really, really believe in evolution, and he was showing us slides and documentaries about Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and kind of like how we came from monkeys. And most of you guys that know me know that I'm very, very respectful to other people's beliefs, even before. Whatever you believe in, that's fine. I don't judge you. I accept what you're saying. But I do like to talk to people about their beliefs, because I do like to understand why they believe that, and if it's traditional or is it something that they discovered on their own. I've always been like that ever since I was a kid. Always looking for the truth, kind of like thinking outside the box, or just thinking. And so he had us do that assignment. I told them that I didn't feel comfortable doing that assignment. I used to always take my Bible in my backpack to school, and I explained to him that it's because I felt that that we didn't come from monkeys, that we came from God. And even though I was a child, I was trying to stand up to him with my beliefs. And he said, Domingo, either do this assignment or I'll fail you. So I did the assignment, and I did the assignment that we came from Jesus, our Lord and Savior. Pretty much wrote down about the birth, the apostles, leading up to the him being crucified. But that was pretty much it. I turned in my assignment, and pretty much my mom knows that story, because she would tell that to other people and say, oh, my kid did this and my kid did that, and I'm so proud of them. But I never told anybody what really happened. That was just the version I wanted people to believe. So I turned in my assignment. Teacher looks at it, he reads it, and he says, this is garbage. And I said, no, it's not. This is what I believe. And he said, it's not possible. Then he said, I told you to write something about what you believed in, and talking about the Neanderthals and how there's proof, there's bones, there's fossils, or whatever you want to call it, and you had no proof that he was around. So then I pulled out my Bible from my backpack, and I said, all the proof is here, teacher. This is everything. And then he looks at me, and he said, okay. So he read the assignment in front of everybody. And he said, this is what Domingo believes in. And everybody looked at me, and they all started laughing. And I know kids can be cruel, and I understand. But after class, everybody would start picking on me. Everybody would call me Christian boy, Christian booger. And at first I'm like, you're funny, leave me alone. But once I started hearing it from everybody and everybody and everybody, it started affecting me. And it really started affecting me when the guys that were in ESL, the guys that can't even speak English, you know, me decían, niño cristiano, cristiano way, puto cristiano. And that really hurt me. And one day I stood up to him and I said, you know, I'm tired of this. Can you guys just stop picking on me? And they beat me up. And even though I knew karate, I couldn't defend myself. And it's something that it hurt me. It affected me. Because here I was, a child of God. Here I was, you know, trying to fight my battles. And I was getting picked on. And there was nobody there to protect me. Nobody at school. Nobody at home. I tried telling my dad, and my dad just wouldn't listen to me. He just wouldn't. He would just be like, yeah, déjame en paz, mijo. And I just never understood it. And I lost all my friends. And I had nobody. And I was mad at God. And I said, you know, why is this happening to me? I'm just trying to be good. And I told myself that I was never, going to go through this again. And I was going to do whatever I had to do to prove myself to everybody. And to hide this. You know, being a child, I was a sick baby. I suffered from epilepsy. There was this one time I had 50 shots in my back, and because they didn't know what I was allergic to, because I always kept getting sick, and they just didn't understand why I was getting sick. And my mom was always there for me. She was always there. I'm so thankful for my mom. My dad was just the working type. And I remember I was the kid in class that people would come in, take out, and show them how to read books to them, sound out words, because I wasn't learning. I really wasn't learning, and that was in elementary school. And once they took me off this medication called phenobarbital, my brain was like a sponge. And all of a sudden, all I wanted to do was learn. And that was in elementary school. So dealing with all these hurt, resentment, and people just bullying me in 7th grade, it was just too much. I wanted to hide under a rock. I wanted to die. I couldn't stop hurting. Girls wouldn't like me. Girls wouldn't talk to me. People would make fun of Domingos, Lunes, Martes, Miércoles. And then now with this whole Christian boy, Christian this, Christian that, I couldn't take it. So I promised myself I would never go through this pain again. And I got through the 7th grade. I finished 7th grade. And 8th grade came around. I turned my back on God. And I started kind of hanging out with the wrong crowd, doing bad things, tagging, listening to, I used to say, death row music. And for those of you guys that know me, I love music. I think music is a form of expression. Music is a way of expressing how you feel. So I started, listening to music more and more and just getting away from God. And next thing you know, I was popular. Next thing you know, I had a girlfriend. Next thing you know, people were accepting me. And I never talked about God anymore. I never told people my beliefs. And I always felt like I had to prove myself to everybody. I had to tell them, whatever you want me to do, I'm down for the crew. I'm down for the homies. You want to go do this? You want to go on a mission? You want to go on a holiday? Whatever. Whether it was personal, whether it was at Sears, whether it was in life, I always wanted to be accepted by everybody. I always cared what people thought of me. That's why I called myself Jesse. Because I didn't want people picking on me. I didn't want people calling me Domingo. I didn't want people, I guess I didn't want to be bullied. I was scared. And sometimes I didn't make the best decisions in life. You know, people always say, you know, you have a good heart, you're nice to people, you relate to people. Yeah, but at what cost? What if I'm not really expressing myself in front of everybody because I'm scared? What if, you know, I could have said no to people? You asked me to do something, why didn't I say no? Why is it that I did it? You know, I know the difference between right and wrong. But, you know, it was easier to be bad than it was to be good. And whatever innocence I had, I lost it there. And I completely had forgotten about that story. I forgot how he made fun of me in front of the class. This grown teacher, grown man, somebody I looked up to, somebody I used to always love and help, put me down in front of everybody. And I went to high school, went to Saddleback, went to Mountain View. Some of the closest friends I still talk to this day, I met at Saddleback and Mountain View. And they never asked me to do anything bad. They accepted me for who I was. But I had this stuff so hidden, so much inside, I never let it out. I did stuff to mask away the pain. And without knowing it, that one instance was gonna make me want to always prove myself to everybody in life. I didn't care what God thought. I didn't care what Jesus wanted from me. All I cared about was what that person in front of me thought of me. What the group of homies I was hanging out with. What my work family thought of me. If I was surrounded by good people, I did good things. I said good things. If I was surrounded by bad people, I said bad things. I thought of a bad way, kind of like that mob family, where either you do what you're told or you're whack. That's it. And I never understood that. So, you know, when I woke up this morning, I said, wow. So that's what happened. And it made me realize how much it hurt me and how much I altered my lifestyle because of that. Because of you, Robert Dory. Because of what you told me. You know, I'm not mad at you. You're just a man. I forgive you now. I don't want to hurt anymore. And I want to grow and learn from this. And I want to share my experiences with the world now. I want to start up a group. I want to tell teenagers. I want to tell adults. I want to tell families. I understand how tradition is, and I understand how we're raised. But you gotta be there for your kids too. And, you know, maybe if you can't do it by yourself, then pray to God. Pray that He'll soften up your heart. Because all I know is I don't care if you're being down in Mexico until Grandpa left you bleeding. I needed you. And like Tupac says, I found love in the streets from the homies. So I love that song, Dear Mama. But I'm in the process of recovering from grief. And just depending on myself now versus on depending on others. And I just wanted to share this with you guys. You know, life isn't easy, life is a journey. And like I said before, I'm not perfect. But I love everybody. And I'm trying to do good. And I'm trying, I know I can't go back to when I was 12 and 13. But I know I can do it now. And I know I sound crazy. And I know people can't be transformed just overnight. But a seed was planted to me when I was a kid. And I pushed that seed to the side. And even though every night, to this day, whenever I had something to eat, I would do the sign of the cross. And people would be like, are you religious? And I would say, no, I'm grateful. Even though every night when my kids would go to sleep, I would pray with them, praying for them to make sure they were doing good, making sure they never had any issues. But that was it. I never read, I never studied, I never prayed. So I didn't have a relationship. You know, I was just trying to help my kids out. But I'm happy now. And I'm sorry that this video is like 20 minutes long. I wasn't trying to make it 20 minutes. I'm sorry I started crying. I don't know what happened. But I wanted to share this with you guys. And I love you guys. And like I said, what works for me might not necessarily work for you guys. Everybody believes in something different. And I understand that, and I completely respect that. But what's working for me, it's really working for me. And just wanted to share that with everybody. Hope you guys are having a great day. And if you're not, cheer up. Because if you're down, things could only get better.